Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker, and beloved, you know that we have a gem dandy of a show in store for you. My guests today are, or should I say today, because the show airs mainly at night, but my guests are Meredith Coleman McGee and William Trest Jr. They are here to tell us about the Jackson Book Festival that's coming up on February the 8th, 2019 at the Jackson Medical Mall. Yes. Okay. And as always, too, beloved, you know everything is working out for my greatest good, and only good lies before me. You know, Meredith, we were talking, William, and I were talking, and she said something that was so interesting. It was like, oh, yes. To me, now she said a lot of stuff, wisdom, okay, and filled with wisdom. She said something to the fact that if you cannot take criticism as an author, you cannot grow. You cannot grow if you cannot take criticism, okay? Because criticism helps you to grow. It helps you to expand. But if someone criticizes you, especially if it's constructive criticism, and you get upset about it, which means you may stop putting your feet forward. You may stop putting your best feet forward. So that is just something that I decided to mention, because to me it was like an eye-opener, because a lot of people cannot take criticism, constructive as well as, who wants to take destructive criticism, but a lot of people can't even take constructive criticism, okay? You criticize them about something, they get all huffy and puffy about it and think you are a hater and all of that, and you just may not be that. But anywho, beloved, whether you are a writer, up-and-coming writer, or whether you are a singer, painter, or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. If you cannot learn to take constructive criticism, you will not be able to grow. You will not. Because people have to point out, or should I say, sometimes things have to be pointed out and let you know, you need to change that. You need to do it this way or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you cannot. It doesn't mean that you cannot grow and become better at what you are doing. Just be open to learning to take constructive criticism. And guess what? Coming up, Meredith Coleman McGee and William Trest Jr. They are going to tell you just a little bit about themselves, and then they are going to talk about the book festival that's coming up.
Hello, my name is Meredith Coleman McGee. I've lived here in South Jackson for 20 years and in Jackson since 1968. I was a product of the Jackson Public School System. I'm also a resume writer. I have a typing and resume service, and also I'm the acquisition editor and publisher of Meredith, etc. And we're here to talk about the Jackson Book Festival, which will take place during Black History Month. And also, I would like to introduce you to one of the organizers, who is also someone that we published, William Trest.
Hey, I'm an author in Ms. McGee's publishing company, Meredith, etc. I've been living in the Jackson area for 45 years, and I first met Ms. McGee in 2013, and I had an idea for a book that would involve the judicial system, and I was going to type it up myself, but she offered to be the publisher of my book, and we've known each other since 2013, and in March of 2017 I published my second book. And the first book was called Reverse Guilty Plea, and the second book was called The New Populist Party. And I'm very proud to be a member of Ms. McGee's publishing company.
Well, thank you very much. And also, William and I are also book toasters, and we're also organizers of the Jackson Book Festival. Of course, there are other book toasters as well that are also organizers. And we're also members of the Learning Tree Book Club, and we're very, very interested in increasing literacy in the area and increasing the opportunities for literary activities also.
I'm very much interested in this Jackson Book Festival. It's an opportunity for local artists to present their literary talents and for poets, people that are interested in poetry, to get up and talk about their poetry and recite poems. And it's also a time for people to know about the arts, to get up and present that.
And we've had quite a bit of interest from the community. We've had a lot of people to register, young and old, emerging writers, as well as very experienced writers. And I think that's going to be the beauty of the festival, because people learn from other people. And when you have a 10-year-old poet that's maybe reciting one stanza, which is 4 lines, listening to an experienced poet, that's a great learning curve for the younger writers to hear the stories from the older writers. And last night, I heard a teacher talking about how frustrated she is that the literacy of the high school students is not where she would like them to be, and she is a product of the Jackson public school system. So I think that anything that we can do that can feed intellect and increase the intellectual capacity of our youth is very, very significant in terms of filling a void in the community.
Authors a chance to present their books live in front of an audience, and we find that if you present your book live in front of an audience and talk about it, it greatly increases the sales of your book, and it causes much public interest in the arts and books and poetry.
Yes, and also doing a book talk is also a great way for an author to become noticed, and it gives them a great advantage in terms of sales as well. That's a very good point.
And everybody's invited to come to the Jackson Book Festival. It's going to be on February the 8th from 1 to 6 at the old mall, the medical mall, and it's going to be in the community room. And
Yeah.
it's 1 to 6 is what I want to stress is the time. And the speakers are going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. and the poetry is going to be from 4 to 5 p.m. And we're going to be prizes given out every 30 minutes.
Yes. And when I was at the Martin Luther King parade, I told a man who was with his children about the Jackson Book Festival, and he was very interested because he said that to him there is not enough positive things for the children to do. And so this is very positive. If you work in the Jackson Medical Mall, you are welcome to come and eat your lunch during your lunch hour and listen to the presentations, the poets, and the poetry contest is going to be from 4 to 5. We'll have 4 categories: elementary students, middle school, high school, and then experienced and active poets. But it's going to be a great opportunity. It's free, open to the public. If you have a group, you're definitely welcome to register online at eventbrite.com. And also, we're also interested, we also did the Jackson Book Festival because we also needed another marketplace for local authors, and particularly Black authors and authors who are self-published. There's not a lot of avenues for people to present their books.
Everybody in the Jackson area has any interest at all in the arts and books should feel free to come. It would be a great event for everybody. There will be gift cards given out, and local restaurants are providing them, and everybody will really get a lot out of this. It's especially those that love books and poetry and everything.
Lady Walker Show.
Welcome back, my beloved peeps. Okay, we are talking today. Now, it's a different style that I'm doing. I am not, interviewing them. They know what they need to say to let you know about the upcoming event on February the 8th, okay? The Jackson Book Festival on February the 8th, okay, Jackson Medical Mall. So, guess what? The interview continues, but the interview is different. But it's continued.
Okay, so we wanted to get into a little more detail about the Jackson Book Festival, and this is our first. This is the first one. It's going to be Friday, February the 8th of this year at the Jackson Medical Mall in the community room, which is near Subway and the security desk. And there's a group, we are book toasters. We organize this event, one, to promote literacy, local authors, the arts, and to feature a poetry contest which will give a stage for emerging writers. And we have invited public school students, elementary, middle, high school, and of course experienced and established poets to compete, but they will compete separately. Elementary, middle, high school, and then experienced poets will compete with each other. And also, some of the authors that will be there to present and sell and sign their books, we know, and some of them we don't know because we opened it up to anybody who registered, and people are still registering at eventbrite.com. I have personally talked to a few of them. One author, a poet, told me that they published in 2009, and they were so excited that we were having this book festival because they haven't really had a lot of opportunities to present their poetry to a live audience since they published in 2009. And also some of the book toasters will be there. I'm the author of 5 books. William is the author of 2 novellas, and my mother is a book toaster. She is the author of 2 children books. Fran Camper Wade is a poet and also the author of multiple books. And then we have Mary Harrison Coleman, who is a history maker. She was the first Black licensed barber in the city of Jackson in 1960, and she also started a school of barbering. She is going to be there to discuss and sell and sign her book. And if you're an author, published or published poet, please sign up, because right now we have room for more authors to sign up, and again, you will sign up at eventbrite.com, and you can go. We're on Facebook, Jackson Book Festival. We're on Instagram, Jackson Book Festival. We have a Twitter page, and it's book_Jackson, and get involved. Like our pages, and get involved in our community, and tell other people about the community. And William, you want to tell us a little more about the?
Yeah, there's going to be speakers there from 1 to 3 p.m.
Yes.
There'll be storytelling, presentations, and book readings, and there'll be prizes given out every 30 minutes. There'll be anything from books, children's dictionaries, gift cards, and gift bags and cards. And elementary students, contestants will read at least 1 stanza, and middle school contestants will read at least 2 stanzas, and high school and adult contestants will read at least 2 or 4 stanzas or more. And a stanza is a division of 4 more lines having a fixed length, meter, or rhyming scheme.
Yes, yes. And we also have 2 videos. The videos are on our Facebook page and on our blog page, which can be found at Meredith, etc., MEREDITHETC.com, and then you go to Jackson Book Festival, and we are showing youth how they can write a stanza. And a stanza, William just said, is 4 lines. And just off the top of my head, I'm going to just try to say 4 lines to show you anybody, if you're 10, 6, or 13, and you want to write a poem, and you just 4 lines. I wrote a poem that said blackness. I am black. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am intelligent. That's 4 lines. That's 1 stanza. And if I want to do another stanza, I am here. I am bold. I am brave. I am fantastic. That's another stanza. And poetry is just, they're short stories. And actually, one of the reasons why we're doing this, because a poet being able to write could lead to a lot of other important things. For instance, I started writing just simple poems, just like those I just said, in high school. And I had a very young teacher who exposed us to the great poets from the Harlem Renaissance, and she let us write plays. And now I'm a published author of 5 books. I have 1 book which I wrote on my uncle, James Meredith, which is in the international market. And I started by writing simple poems. Also, there's opportunity. If you can write a poem, you can write a song. Songwriters are behind the scene making a lot of money, because really a song is just, they're short stories, just like a poem. I was listening to a writer, and I was just reminded of how you write a poem and then it has a hook, and then you just write some more lines and you have a hook. That's really what a song is in terms of hip hop or other genres.
And we want to point out again that every writer, we've got about 16 authors that might be able to speak at the.
Yes, so far, but there's one just registered today. So it's, I think get in there, go ahead and register for we're full.
You have anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes to make your presentation.
Yeah, that's what we estimate, and we won't know until the day of, when we count the vendors and divide up the minutes. So but every author needs an elevated presentation, 5 minutes to 7 minutes anyway. So
and then 2 minutes for questions.
Right, yeah, they could allow several minutes for questions.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Lady Walker Show.
Welcome back, my peeps. Okay, we are going to continue along the line of the Jackson Book Festival that's coming up February the 8th at the Jackson Medical Mall. Hopefully you will be able to attend the event. And if you want to participate as a vendor, she put that information out there on where you need to go and sign up, but it is free to the public. But if you are a vendor and you want to participate, it's a very small fee. Okay, continue with Meredith and William.
Hello again. I'm Meredith Coleman McGee here with William Trest, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more about being an author, getting published, and also the Jackson Book Festival, the book toasters, and I want to talk to you a little bit about my businesses very briefly. I've had a typing service here in the city for the past 16 years. We're online at typingsolutions.biz. We're also on Facebook, Typing Solutions. And just the other day, Friday, I was typing for someone who had to have something typed on a typewriter. I had to pull out my Smith Corona because he was selling a car, a Savage car, and the city of Jackson has this form, and you have to type it. But anyway, I'm a resume writer. We do federal resumes and regular resumes. And if you are interested in becoming published, we have a publishing company, Meredith, etc. And we're on Twitter, Meredith, etc., Instagram, Meredith, etc.dot.com, and also on Facebook, Meredith, etc. And we've worked with, we started, it was just 2 authors, and then William came, he made 3, and now we've published 13 books, and of course he came back for a second helping, and we did 2 of his novellas, and it's all about planting seeds and growing. And William, you wanted to tell about
you? Back in 2013, I was concerned about the condition of the judicial system and how it had failed many people, and they had fallen through the cracks of the judicial system and didn't get fair justice. So I decided to write a book on it. And Ms. McGee, I happened to meet Ms. McGee about this time, and she had a typing service, and we started talking about my ideas for a book, and she agreed to be my publisher. And that started out in 2013. I wrote a book called Reverse Guilty Plea. It's in the Library of Congress. And it's a book about a guy named Charles Wilson that gets wrongfully treated by the judicial system and his own family. And several years later, in 2017, I wrote a book called The New Populist Party. And it's a book about a woman who runs for president in 2020 on the New Populist Party platform. And she challenges the Republicans and Democrats, and it's a real interesting read. And when I wrote the New Populist Party, I learned to do dialogue, and I had never done dialogue. And Reverse Guilty Plea was narrative, and then when I did the New Populist Party in 2017, I finally learned to do dialogue. And the New Populist Party's made it to Stanford University Library, Princeton University Library, American University, University of Michigan, University of Virginia, and University of Memphis libraries, and also the Library of Congress. And also, I have a website called thenewpopulistparty.org for the New Populist Party book, where people can make comments and everything. And I have a proofreading service where I proofread people's, anything anybody needs proofread, I can proofread it for them. I studied English composition at Ole Miss, made straight A's, and graduated in business administration from Ole Miss, and took political science at Ole Miss and made straight A's, which qualified me to do all of this.
Yes, yes. And so that's what I was saying about planting seeds. You started with reverse guilty plea. Mm-hmm. That's where everybody's got to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And you wrote your story mainly in a narrative form. Mm-hmm. And you got into a lot of libraries with your first one. Yeah. But with your second one, you did more dialogue and you get into the textbook market. And yeah. I think that's commendable. And I want to tell anybody, you've had to start somewhere. When you do your first book, you may not, you have to make a name for yourself. Authors have to musicians do book tours, and authors have to do, they do music tours, and authors have to do book tours. We have to get out and speak to the public, go to libraries if they're available, bookstores if they're available. And we have to, sometimes you have to make a market. I know some authors who did their book signing in their house because they couldn't find a venue.
It's definitely hit or miss.
It's hit or miss. You just got to keep going and keep talking.
Some bookstores and libraries will accept you where others won't, you know.
Right, and you just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And the Jackson Book Festival, back to the Jackson Book Festival, we have had a lot of interest from the public, especially for the poetry contest. We had never imagined that it was going to be so well received. People say, well, who's going to be there selling books? Some of the people who signed up, none of us know who they are. They went to Eventbrite and they paid the small fee, and they're registered and they're coming. But I do know that we will have a lot of different books to select from: memoirs, biographies, poetry, historic fiction, novels, novellas, children books, children activity books. We also have several local vendors, Things and More, that's in the Jackson Medical. And as a matter of fact, he's been in the Jackson Medical Mall since it was the Jackson Medical Mall nearly 30 years ago, and the African Art Gallery. So come, get involved, listen to the presentation. You will enjoy it, and come and get the prizes and cheer on the emerging writers. Come and clap and support them.
Again, register at www.eventbrite.com. And Brite is spelled B-R-I-T-E.
Good point.
Welcome back, my beloved peeps. The time has come for me to bring it down a notch, to wrap it up. Yes, but you know what? I always look forward to coming back into your home, your neck of the woods, same time, same channel, Comcast Cable Channel 18. And I will see you next time on the Lady Walker Show. Ta-ta.